Hello there, I'm that Metroid guy. It's kinda hard to believe that Metroid Dread has been in our hands for a year now. I'm still coming to terms with the fact the game even exists, but the reality is that it has been around for a year. I've already done a review type video for Dread, but I feel like it's appropriate to do another video to see if anything has changed, and surprisingly things have. If you like what you see, leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment. It really helps me out. Now, let's dive in. First things first, the game still holds up incredibly well. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've played Dread about 24 times. The biggest factor in that is, it's just fun to play. This game is without a doubt the best Samus has ever felt to play in the 2D games, period. It's not even close. Initially I did feel like the controls were a bit clunky, but that was more for the UI stuff. Samus herself? Mwah, chef's kiss. It's smooth, responsive, and fluid. This part is likely the sole reason why I will come back to Dread every so often, while I only come back to the other 2D games for like a marathon or something. I still feel like it's a shame that you can't really customize your controls, and that's probably still my biggest gripe with the game, along with the map being pretty hard to read at times. Even now I struggle to fully make sense of where I am, and where to go after a few seconds. In Prime, it's a glance. But once I've gotten used to the actual button layout, it's smooth sailing. The music still kinda sucks ass. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fitting for an atmospheric tone, but there's a whole trilogy of games that pulled off an atmospheric tone while having absolute jams. I still stand by what I pointed out in my original video. The songs there are kinda the only good ones or decent ones. It's a handful when it should be a handful of okay ones while the rest is gold. Oh, and I want to say I play Dread with headphones almost every time. Even when I don't use them, I don't like the music. If anything, it's probably a little worse because you don't get the fullest out of the atmospheric direction the game went in. Now, Ravenbeak. I've kinda swayed ever so slightly in favour of him. I used to say that it didn't feel like Samus had earned her abilities because Ravenbeak basically gifted them to her. While that's still mostly true, it would have taken immense dedication, effort, and training to maintain those abilities, and ensure that Samus was always in top form. So that part I retract. Samus is still 100% a beast. I still wish he had presence though, which is a bit ironic. Another thing I've warmed up to is the ending itself. After beating the game so many times, it does feel pretty satisfying to complete. Yeah, the ending is still clearly rushed, but the rest of the game is so good and I keep replaying it. I can forgive it. Just be complete next time, please. I think what also keeps me coming back is the fact that you can sequence break pretty easily. I know a lot of people say that the game is very linear and handholdy. While I will say it is linear, it's not handholdy. Sure, there are points of no return, but that's not a problem for me. You have so many opportunities to backtrack and sequence break before those points of no return. You just have to want to, and boy are you rewarded for doing so. Kraid is definitely the punching bag when it comes to this. You can get the multiple bombs and even the flash shift before fighting him, and you can use them during the fight, to instant kill and to do another attack respectively. You have so many opportunities to do stuff like this, but you have to want to, and I absolutely do. The difficulty is another interesting topic. At first, this game was insanely hard for me, but that's probably because I didn't even get half of the items I should have. Yeah, I kinda deserved to get clapped. But now, once I'd learned how the bosses, enemies, and map worked, it's a breeze, even on hard. I think, once you've beaten normal a few times, hard is definitely the way to play. It's so rewarding. Oh, I completely forgot that Dread was updated since that review. So, Mercury Steam added some difficulties in a small update, Rookie Mode for those unfamiliar with Metroid or the younger audience, and Dread Mode for the masochists. You die in one hit in that mode. Yeah, needless to say, I haven't beaten that one yet. They also added an expanded results screen, which is definitely nice. And then in the final update, they added a boss rush mode, which you unlock by beating the game. It even has its own difficulties. It's a sweet little extra. A lot of people had hoped that DLC would be announced for Dread, and I don't blame them given how rushed the ending was. And it seems like there's room for a whole area on the map. But we haven't got that, and it's looking less likely that we will. The boss rush update is the last update Dread has had, and that was back in April. There were other updates, they patched up glitches, lowered the loading times a bit, which is really noticeable, thank god. But that's it for the post-launch. I do wish we got a little more, but I love the base game so much that I can't complain. Unfortunately, I can't say how good Dread looks on an OLED screen. The closest thing I can do is adjust some settings on my Switch, in-game and on my monitor. Playing it, it looks great, to me at least. It doesn't translate very well in the video. It looks a lot darker than it should for some reason. A lot of the background details are missing, which wasn't the case when I was capturing the footage. Speaking of missing background details, the void areas of the game, as in parts beyond the floors, ceilings and walls, it's slowly starting to grate me. It's not offensive, but remembering just how full the other 2D games are, it makes me a little sad. It's no doubt done intentionally to maintain the 60 FPS, which is sadly still pretty unstable at times even now, but I would rather play at 60 FPS, I'll be honest. That's what helps make the gameplay so smooth and fun to play. Apart from all that, my views on the game remain largely the same. The Emmy are more annoying than scary, Dread has probably one of the best interpretations of Samus's character, and the game was well worth the wait. I still rate it 9 out of 10, even though numbers are pretty arbitrary. I keep coming back to the game because I remember how it feels to play, and I just have to, you know? Another thing, I still refuse to believe that Samus and the Federation are all buddy-buddy. It just wouldn't make any sense. And what I said about the Emmy being made solely to extract Samus's Metroid DNA? I still firmly believe that. It's just far too coincidental. It doesn't help that when the Emmy are free from their control by the central units, they are almost unrelenting towards Samus. Maybe Ravenbeak hacked the machines to not be so hyper-aggressive, who knows. And those ships at the end of the game, they will definitely tie into Metroid 6, I'm sure of it. We're gonna see the X at least one more time, and I kinda hope it is one more time. They're starting to get a little old, but a good send-off will be good to see. I can't wait for what comes next, but god, I hope it involves Samus's feud with the Federation this time. So that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I've now recovered from various things since my last video. I'm no longer deaf, I used to have a major toothache, and I pulled my neck. I'm still feeling the last one, but I'm good enough to do videos. I'll talk about Samus's design in Dread when I get to it in the Power Suit review series, which will be starting up again. I'm going in release order, and I'm on Prime's Gravity Suit. It's gonna be a while, but it'll be worth the wait. And thank you for over 2,000 subscribers. I not long hit 1k, so it's kinda surprising to hit twice that in a relatively short space of time. If you guys liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know how you feel about Dread a year later. I'm curious to hear, and it would really help me out. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me. If you can't support me monetarily, watching, liking, commenting, and sharing will also be incredibly helpful. So that's it from me. I will see you on the next mission. Bye bye.